Welcome back everyone. We're off to see a fella called Graham. He's got a Sierra Thunder Saloon. It's not like a max power type car, it's actually like a proper, like they used to race them, do you know what I mean? But we'll be there any second, so we'll find out everything about it.
And have you had a look down here at all the other stuff? Because I just bought 2 lots. I bought one lot for the Thunder Saloon and one lot for the 3-door.
Yeah. Why the gas?
Gas dampers, yeah. Yeah.
Nice them, mind. Got the invoice for them.
50 quid's worth. Yeah.
How much?
1,250 quid's worth.
Just sell them on?
Well, those are for sale, yeah.
Aye. How much did you get for them? Grand?
They're up for sale for 850 quid.
Oh, that's not bad, that, right?
Yeah, it's good value for somebody, that. All the Powerflex black pushes ready to go on the 3-door, which we're not building.
Have you put them on eBay?
I haven't.
Not yet,
Not yet. I put them on that. I did a big Facebook listing with a load of stuff on it, and they're on that at 850.
Well, I think that's where I've seen the Thunder Saloon.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So very often you see a Sierra Thunder Saloon about, right?
No.
Oh, look at that.
This is just all bits of crap out of the interiors.
I looked all over for one of them.
For the cowl, for the, under the rack.
You ready?
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
Just stand, we'll just
stand and chat.
Just say hello, then we'll just have a look around the car. Hello fellas, welcome back. I'm here with Graham. We came to look at, he's got a Thunder Saloon Sierra, which you'll have seen in the thumbnail. But as I pulled up, I noticed this. So we're just going to have a quick look around this, then we'll get to the main event.
Yep.
So this, Graham, is...
Sierra 3-door shell.
It's a non-Cosworth shell.
It's a non-Cosworth shell.
Yeah. It's like main difference is the tunnel, isn't it?
Yeah, the tunnel and also the sunroof.
Right, sunroof.
It's probably started off life as a 1300L or a 1600L shell, something like that. Very base spec model as a 3-door. But then the shell's been motorsport prepped. So it's
nice cage in there, isn't it?
Yeah, full custom cage in it, all seam welded.
Was it like 8-point cage or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually, but it's racing before now. I've ended up on my roof, so I always want a full proper cage in it.
Makes sense.
It's not sort of Group A touring car spec. It's a modern track car spec for racing.
Nice paint job as well, mind.
It's all right. It's quite tidy. Yeah, I mean it was done properly. The part of the RS 500 kit's been bonded on. The arches have been rolled and made bigger to take big wheels, and if somebody wanted to put like centre locks on it and do it as a replica of a Group A car. But yeah, it is. It's a tidy shell, and we were going to build it into another track car.
But you're selling it now, aren't you?
Yeah, it's up for sale. Yeah, it's up for sale.
With a mountain spares?
Yeah.
The spares
are being sold separately, but the shell's got, I mean, we started to try and get building it, so it's got the rear beam on and the wishbones, and it's got the front cross member on it as well, all powder coated and painted, and yeah, just ready to build.
Nice cage as well, mind. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's proper. Yeah, it's proper.
I love the look of a cage in a car, but like for road use, they're not good really, are they?
They're not. I mean, the big thing with them, as well as protecting it stiffens the shell up as well.
That's what I would want one for, to stiffen it up a bit.
And then inside there, we've got the skirts for the side, and then down there we've got the vents.
Painted.
Yeah, all painted and ready to go on the car.
So how long's this been sat here? A while?
Oh, about 5 years.
Has it really?
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see like 6 months.
No, it gets cleaned off occasionally, and we get the airline to blow the dust off it.
Then put it back.
And then put it back again. Yeah.
Cool. Should we pull the Thunder Saloon in? We'll have a look.
Do
you want to push with it, or how are we doing it?
Well, I think what we might do is just drop it off the jacks and reverse it in.
I'll let you do this bit like Graham. I don't want that.
Yeah.
it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What do you mean?
So all the normal gauges that you want for racing. Tacho, red lining at near 7. Then oil pressure, oil temperature, battery so you know if it's charging or not, water temperature, you just want to tickle it, so yeah, keep it just over 1,000. Then over here, you'd no stalks on the steering like you'd have on a normal road car. These are not compulsory for racing, but we've got indicators on it that work off a relay. Nothing on the dash to tell you that they're on, but that's now indicating left only on the rear. The front ones are not attached. Or right, put it in the centre and they're switched off. That's for the heating windscreen, so that's the boost pressure. And you can turn the boost up or down. All on there on the fly whilst you're racing.
This for your brakes? Brake bias?
Yeah, so there's there's 2 brake bias controls on the car. One is a quite rough one that is a lever forwards for front, backwards for more rear bias. And then we've also got a fine adjustment on here as well on a rotating dial. And a gear lever. It's quite a nice office to sit in.
It's not bad, is it?
Very nice. We raced at the second race meeting that I did with the car.
Shall we knock it off and we'll...
Yeah.
Easy as that, eh?
If you want to just turn that red one to the left anti-clockwise.
This one?
Yeah, and that'll knock the electrics all off. That's it. So that now just kills all the electrics on the car.
So there's no power anywhere?
No power to anything at all on the car.
Should we jump out and we'll have a look about?
Right.
If I can get out.
Do you want to take the wheel off first?
Go on, please.
It's a lot easier without that on. Still hard, but it's a lot easier.
Would that skirt not handle way up, will it?
No, it's not load bearing that.
So this is genuine Cosworth shell, this one, isn't it?
This was originally a Cosworth shell. I don't actually know a full amount of the history of the car.
Right.
So I've had the car for about 8 years, and when I bought it, it was a running race car.
With the Thunder Saloon kit on?
With the Thunder Saloon kit on, and it was painted up in the Peter Brock Mobile number 5 colours.
Aye, I've done a video on the actual proper car.
Have you? Yeah. Wow, fantastic.
Aye.
Yeah, so it was a tribute car to that, but we took the car to Alton Park to give it a run after having checked the engine out, just to see what it was like. And I took it round Alton Park, did a few laps, and decided there and then that actually it was a really tired car, and everything felt loose and it really didn't feel right. So at that point, we made the decision to rebuild it. But also, the cage that was in it was an old-fashioned thin cage, and a lot of it was bolting.
Right.
And as I said to you before, I've landed on my roof before now. So I didn't want that cage in the car. So the first thing we did was we chopped the cage out.
Put a proper one in.
Put a proper one in it.
Who built the cage?
So again, it's a custom cage, is like the 3-door shell, and Alan Crossley put it in. Certified custom cages guy. And in fact, he did a lot of the fabrication work on the car where we needed to fix bits of a little bit of rust here and there and cut bits out and tied it all up. So it spent about a year in his workshop on the spit, having all the bodywork tidied up, cage fitted, and then the car was obviously prepped for bodywork and painted, all painted. And then we went just through every single component on the car and either replaced it with new or refreshed what was already there. So we had the engine rebuilt, the gearbox rebuilt, the diff rebuilt, just everything. We put a new set of brakes on the front and changed the originals. We put a new set of brakes on the rear and changed the originals. It's had brand new custom-made wheels from Image Rims.
I've got Image wheels on mine. They're nice, mine.
They're brilliant. They're really nice rims. Yeah.
I like the style you've gone with here.
Yeah, I wanted sort of a nod to the row style type wheels of the era. The Mini Light type wheels of the era, which is always a design I've really liked. But I wanted them to try and look sort of a bit more period than modern.
Are they 17-inch these?
These are they 16s or 17s?
I thought 16s, but with the
Yeah,
arches,
the 16s.
with the arches being slightly different, it's hard to tell.
The 16s.
It's a cool looking car as well, because it did actually race Thunder Saloon Sierras. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
For a little bit, didn't they?
They did.
I done a little bit Googling. Did they have a Porsche engine?
There's people. This was a good thing with the Thunder Saloon series because you could run basically any engine you wanted.
So they had a Thunder Saloon Sierra with a Porsche engine.
Well, I don't know about that, but certainly I do know. I know a guy who has a Thunder Saloon Sierra with a Chevy LS1 in it, a V8.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So I know there's quite a few people did V8 conversions because the YB in the era was always known to be a little bit fragile at the limit.
Aye.
And I mean they're not as bad nowadays because obviously the machining's got much better.
The development.
Materials, sort of 30 years ago. Bit different back in those days.
Because if anyone's watching and you're thinking, is this like a max power style car? It is actually a proper race style car, isn't it? It's not like...
Yeah, it's not road legal at all.
No.
I mean, little things like the fact that the headlights here are actually stick-on vinyl.
Are these headlights here? These
Yeah, so the lights...
strips?
Yeah, we've got some little LED strips on here.
Are they bright?
Yeah, they are quite bright. I'll put them on.
Aye.
They give enough light to let people know on the track that you're behind them and you're wanting to come through, especially when you start flashing them. Yeah.
Have you still got a logbook for the car, like a road
I still have a V5 for it,
So it's got like a reg number and everything. Is it a D reg?
Yeah, it's a D reg. Yeah. I've still got the logbook.
When was it last MOT then, the car?
I think 2003.
Was it?
Yeah, it's a fair while ago.
So the spoiler's genuine on the back?
Yeah.
Genuine 500 spoiler and low spoiler?
And lower spoiler as well, although obviously it isn't a genuine 500 car.
No. Cool. Can we have a look under the bonnet?
Of course you can.
So what we're looking at here, Graham? YB engine?
Yeah, it's a conventional-ish Ford YB Cosworth engine. The engine itself has run for about 2.5 hours, if that, at two race meetings. It's a relatively sort of standard RS 500-ish spec.
Proven spec.
Yeah. The engine was built by my engine builder, which is Rick Wood. He's really well known, especially for Capris, Ford Capris of different sorts. Absolutely fabulous guy and a brilliant engine builder. He's been building my engines for the last 15, 20 years.
Has he?
Yeah. And not yet, well, touch wood. Never had an issue. So this is, a YB. It's running 8 injectors. It's running a Garrett T4 turbocharger. The internals have all been lightened and balanced, and all forged pistons and so on. Different profile cams than standard. These are special for Rick Wood. The engine was completely, fully, obviously rebuilt and reconditioned and everything on it replaced. It's dry sumped.
Is it?
Yeah. So the oil system, there's a tank in the back of the car that feeds the oil to the front.
Really?
So dry sumping it means that you don't need as deep an oil sump.
Oil pan.
Yeah, so because it's got a different sump on, which is not as deep, it means we've actually been able to lower the engine in the car by about 3/4 of an inch.
So that's lower than it would be in a normal Sierra?
Yeah, and that also means for racing, it lowers the centre of gravity slightly of the car because you've got the engine weight lower down in the car.
Makes sense.
The downside is you've got extra pipe work and an oil tank in the back of the car to hold the oil, and it actually means that instead of a standard road car taking about 6 or 7 litres of oil, this takes about 25 litres of oil.
Does it?
Because of the extra piping and the big oil tanks. You've got a bit of extra weight from that.
That's an expensive oil change, isn't it?
It is an expensive oil change, yeah. It is.
Must cost you about 200 or 300 quid, is it, for an oil change?
Well, yeah, we end up buying the miller's oil in
a drum,
20 litre drums, yeah. And obviously it'll take at least one of those to get the oil change done, yeah.
So is there still a filter on it? It's still an oil filter?
Yeah. There's still an oil filter on it, exactly the same as you'd have on a normal car. And in fact, we've got a remote filter on it. Yeah, so the oil filter's down here, under that, on the underside of there.
Right.
So the Torx fit in there it takes a standard oil filter and the oil lines go through that. through the filter and into the engine, and then back out to the back of the car to recirculate.
What did you say these were?
This is anti-lag.
That's anti-lag, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet it sounds nice, does it?
Yeah, you're not supposed to use it in the UK for racing.
Are you not?
No, only if they find out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not illegal to fit it to the car, it's only illegal to have it in use.
So is that
And
two fuel injectors there?
To be honest, I don't know how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
It looks like two fuel injectors, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, and presumably they're the thing that keep the turbo spooling.
Aye.
Yeah.
Does it pop and bang when you turn it on?
Oh, aye.
Does it?
Oh, yes. There's an unmarked switch on the dashboard.
So you
the
just put
anti-lag.
windscreen wiper switch or something next to it?
Well, previously when we labelled up the dash, it's a 2-position switch, and it was labelled slow and fast
Was it?
for putting the anti-lag on. Yeah, but we've taken that off now. We like to have these little jokey bits with the race cars.
Just have fun with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that a fiberglass bonnet?
It's fiberglass. Yeah, there's quite a few of the panels on the car that are fiberglass.
Aye.
The bonnet
Well, that
is
makes sense as well if you're racing
obviously
it.
this. Yeah, I mean the idea is to keep the weight down, and the whole of the Thunder Saloon kit is fiberglass as well.
Aye. So there's no strength into the car in it?
No strength at all in those panels whatsoever. All the strength is derived from the cage and the inner wing and structure in the car, but primarily from the cage.
I didn't even know you could get fiberglass
There you go.
bonnets from them.
Yeah.
Go and pop the boot
Pop the
and
back. Yep.
we'll have a look in.
Again,
I like the exhaust on it, mind.
It's quite tidy, isn't it? Again, custom made for the car.
Who built that for you?
Alan Crossley, again, the guy who fitted the cage to the car, he's done quite a lot of the fabrication on it, and he built the exhaust system for us.
Cool. That's a big fuel tank, that, mind.
Yeah, that's a cover for the tank. So when you're racing, you're not allowed to have exposed fuel systems without protection in the car. So that's a cover for the tank, and the tank's inside there.
So what kind of litres do you get in there?
That's running about 40 litres of fuel.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a pretty standard sized tank.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah. It is, yeah. And then over here we've got this is the oil catch tank in here. I was saying before about it being dry sumped. So that's the oil tank. And then there's pipe work running out of that down the side of the car there. And then on the fueling system, tank here, filling through the side here, in actual fact through the back window. And then the pumps are over here. We did have a small fuel spill, so the black paint's come off and needs a bit of a touch up. So under here, underneath the fuel tank, we've got a swirl pot here in the old wheel well, and that's gravity fed from the tank. So that's just where the fuel wants to naturally be. And then twin filters running into two Bosch 44 pumps.
Is that just a standard Sierra Cosworth fuel pump, that, isn't it? But you've got two of them.
Two of them, yeah. It being increased power and so on it. I mean, obviously the standard road cars were about 240 brake. It does tend to drink.
I bet.
To be fair, I've not run the car for long enough yet to work out how much fuel it uses per minute. Because obviously with these, we don't have an odometer on them to tell you how many miles you've done.
Right.
So we basically run on how many minutes you've run the car engine for in a race. So the championship that I normally do is a 20-minute race. So you basically stick your fuel in, and then at the end of the race, you decant the fuel back out again.
Right.
You do the maths to work out what you've used, how long you've been running, and that'll give you an idea of how much fuel you need.
So if you lose 10 litres in 10 minutes, then you're losing a litre a minute.
Yeah, so you'd know then if you were doing a 40-minute race,
that would
be the maximum the car would do, because it'll only take 40 litres.
Wish we could take it out. It's a shame.
Shame
I've
it's
done
not
a lot of
legal.
I've done a lot of race cars, and I was thinking I'm gonna have to find some way of getting out in them or something. Do you know what I mean? But
well, this has been built with. So in the passenger side here, we've got the battery for the car. You've got the fuel lines on that side and the oil lines on this side, and then in here This is the notebook for the car, which lets us know what jobs need doing, and this is a fuel drain to empty the fuel tank. But it's got passenger seat rails in it.
Oh, right, I see.
So we can actually fit a passenger seat in this.
Scare the life out of someone.
Absolutely, yeah. Why should the driver have all the fun?
Exactly, all right. I'm a bad passenger, to be honest, man.
I don't think I've ever met anyone who's a good passenger in a race car.
Aye. Hurtling at the corners at 120 mile an hour, and old Sierra's pretty nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Well, the back end tends to wobble anyway, doesn't it? So, yeah, when someone else is driving and you're on a racetrack and the back end starts to wobble, yeah.
Nice. Cheers, Graham. Thanks for having us down.
You're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome, Adam.
That's it, fellas. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Graham for having us down.
Very welcome, Adam.
The reason I found out about this car is I actually seen it for sale on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I messaged Graham, asked him if I could pop down and have a look. So if you're interested in buying the car, it is actually for sale. What's the best way to contact you, mate?
If you find me on Facebook, that's probably the best way.
Graham Sal?
Graham Saul, S-A-U-L. Find me on Facebook, ping me a message, and I'll, if you want to come and have a look, if you're serious, no problem.
Spot on. I'll leave my Instagram below as well, fellas. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks a lot, mate. Thanks for having us down.
You're very welcome.